NFL wildcard weekend is here, and Jalen Hurts has not thrown a football. Can't throw a football. I don't know what's going on, but we might be getting Kyle Trask versus Marcus Mariota on Monday Night Football. We're going to talk Eagles. We're going to break down all the wild card games for Saturday and Sunday. We're going to talk football. It's Football Friday here on Trending in the AM with your thoughts and opinions. We're live. 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. You know the drill. Like, share, retweet, follow. Click all those buttons you can on whichever platform you're watching on. And get interactive with the show, not just on Facebook and YouTube, but Twitter comments are available. As my girl Kylie says, we are screwed over on Twitter. Yeah, that might be it. We got lots to go into today. I am Phil Stiefel, your host every morning here on Trending in the AM. You can shoot me a follow on any social media platform. If I'm on it, it's at Beard and Knowledge. I'd greatly appreciate it. And let's dive into it. The first thing, the Mariota Trask call. I'm so ready. Zach, what is up? I like that you changed your profile picture. Now I see who you are there. Um, News yesterday. There are a lot of things that happened. A lot of little things happened. Um, but one really big thing stuck out to me, and it doesn't seem to be a huge deal at this moment with Eagles Twitter and Eagles social media and Eagles fans across all platforms. And that's the fact that when Jalen Hurts spoke yesterday, he said he hasn't thrown a football since the last game of the season against the Giants. That, he can't throw a football. Is this finger issue a bigger deal than people realize? Is there actually a chance that Marcus Mariota is our starting quarterback on Monday night? I doubt it. I'm sure Jalen will figure it out. He says he's trending, no pun intended on this show, in the right direction. He used his cliche. It's getting better. Every day is a step in the right direction for it. But man, if it's Thursday, you hurt your finger 4 days ago, and you haven't even tried to throw a football yet, what does that say about the injury? Is it a bigger deal than we realize? Are the Eagles not like the Eagles are really, really sketchy with what they have to say right now? A lot of miscommunication, a lot of misinformation, a lot of subtle comments from a lot of players and coaches. Is this just another instance where things aren't going well in Eagles land right now? I don't know, and it's kind of concerning to me. I'm the dog on the left. You're not the person on the right. You're the dog on the left. I got you, my man. Yeah, birds. Go birds. I guess. Go birds. Nick Sirianni wore an underdog's hat on press conference. I knew it was planned. I didn't see that, Travis. But man, I'm over the wearing the cliche shirts, the cliche hats. That worked in 2021. That does not work in 2023, 2024. I'm over that. If he did, I don't want it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. I think at this point, actions speak louder than words. And because the words that are coming out of this team, they're not the actions and words that are coming out of this Eagles team are not those of a playoff team. They're not those of a team that's supposed to make a World Series. Geez, I'm thinking baseball right now. Seeing that Ranger Suarez settled and all the Phillies settled their arbitration outside of outcome. I'm thinking baseball right now. I said World Series. This is not the actions and words of a team that thinks they're going to get to the Super Bowl. This is the action and words of a dysfunctional organization. Jalen Hurts yesterday really struck a chord with me multiple times. First, obviously, with the finger, and then again, comments to the media. And we know Jalen Hurts is all about his cliche sayings and his cliche motivational speeches and whatnot. But yesterday, Jalen Hurts spoke and also said, he was asked about what AJ had said about the interception in the Seattle game where the players went off script and it was just, Nick Sirianni was covering their behind. And his answer really, really bothered me. And it's not bothering anybody else, it seems like. And he said, a lot you don't know, referring to the Seattle interception. And then he followed up with, you don't know what you don't know. And he's basically criticizing the media for saying things. But, excuse me. But I got this weird vibe from the way he spoke yesterday in those comments that there's more disgruntled players than we realize, that there's more frustrations in that locker room with the coaching staff than let on. There's more frustration with each other as teammates than we realize. I kind of got the feeling that stuff was crumbling down around them. Now, maybe that's me. Maybe that's the Negadelphian in me, as Marshawn would call me. Maybe I'm overreacting to this. But are we at the point where this Eagles team is actually fractured in multiple different ways? That everybody's not on the same page. And, I don't think enough people are reading into the generic comments enough because they sound on the surface, you don't know what you don't know. They sound very cliche-ish. But I'm reading into them deeper. And I think this team's hurting on the inside. Just pick yourself up when you're down. Sounds easier than it is sometimes. Actions speak louder than words, but the bird is the word. How about that, Battlehawk? The bird is the word. Bird is the word. Word is the bird. Or however that song goes from that Family Guy episode. Great team and go Eagles. A big fan of Eagles. Kick Buccaneers butt. Little G, what's up this morning? I love the positivity every morning when you chime in. But are you that positive if it's Marcus Mariota suiting up on Monday night? I think the whole team is done with this season, is just waiting for new coordinators. And I get that, Zach, and I sort of agree with you on that. But doesn't that tell you something about the players? Doesn't that tell you something? If players quit on not just a team, not just on the fan base, but on a season, when you're sitting, what do they say? We're 0-0 now, headed into the playoffs. Doesn't it bother you that potentially this team has quit on a season? The last couple of years, even when the cliche stuff comes out of the locker room, they're all saying the same thing. Right now, you've got so many different mixed messages. You got Jalen Hurts being grumpy to an extent. You've got Darius Slay calling out the fans for booing and then coming out 30 minutes later and saying, that's not what I meant. You guys are just misinterpreting. You got Dallas Goedert saying we're coasting. You got A.J. Brown taking the responsibility off the coaches. You got the coaches taking responsibility. You got people talking about Jordan Davis being overweight. There are so many mixed messages that there's something disjointed. And look, I'm not saying this, and I'm not leading up to me saying fire Nick Sirianni. I'm not saying that. But to the people that do say that, all that I've just explained points in that direction. What's up, Adam? How you doing this morning? Hope you're better than the Eagles team is this morning. It's definitely not liking what I'm seeing. We're playing the Bucs, for crying out loud. They're 100% beatable if we just play well. I think they're 100% beatable, the Bucs, even if we just play good. We don't even have to play well or great. We just have to play good. Baker Mayfield did not practice yesterday. Ribs and something else, I forget. Hence why we make the joke that we're going into the Kyle Trask versus Marcus Mariota Bowl on Monday night. The Bucs are not a good team, and I'm not trying to down the Bucs. I mean, they have a couple really good players. I'm a huge fan of Rachaad White. Going to be one of my keepers in the PSN fantasy football draft. Definitely. Mike Evans is one of the most underrated wide receivers in the NFL. But Baker Mayfield's not that good. Their defense isn't that good. They barely won the worst division in football. So, they're beatable. But the vibe coming out of the NovaCare complex in that locker room, it's not good. It's not that of a team that thinks they can make a playoff run. It's that of a team that, as you said before here, they're just waiting for the season to end. And that's not good. The players haven't bought into what Nicky Boy has preached or sold. See, it's funny. And what's up this morning? Sky Warm Spotter Ken. So what's up, Ken? Thanks for tuning in this morning. When all was going well, and they were winning, and they were going to Super Bowls, and they were winning game after game, what Nicky Boy, as you call him, preaches was working. But I always said since day one of T-shirt gate, as I like to call it, which is Nick Sirianni pandering not just to the fans, but to the players as well, trying to be their best buddy versus their coach, that when the going gets tough, will Nick Sirianni's style still work? And we're seeing right now that the locker room isn't, sometimes when a sports team in any sport has this kind of a situation like the Eagles are, it brings everybody closer together. The family gets tighter. They stick up for each other. If anything, they're spreading out. They're fracturing. They're separating. And that's not good. Adam, most people are doing better than the Eagles are right now. For sure. Do you think he is gone after the season between all the coaches? Look, Adam, I'm not firing Nick Sirianni, personally. Not at this point. Not now. I mean, maybe you could convince me on Tuesday morning if they go out there and get smoked like 40-7 by the Buccaneers. You could convince me Monday morning or Tuesday morning in an overreactionary state to do that. But, even if they go out there and lose 27-24 and it's a close, hard-fought game, you just can't move on from it. You replace the coordinators, and then if that doesn't work, then you consider it next year, which I know is wasting another year. We went through this same thing with Doc Rivers. Give him one more year. Give him a half another year, whatever. And that didn't work out. But I'm not moving on from him personally. I still think there's value in what Nick Sirianni brings to the table. Problem is, what I think doesn't mean anything. It's what Jeffrey Lurie thinks. Jeffrey Lurie is sitting out there and sees Vrabel, Harbaugh, Belichick, big name guys out there. Now, I know that those guys wouldn't want to work under Howie's thumb. But, man, I would not be shocked. It wouldn't be this, whoa, if all of a sudden Jeffrey Lurie hires Bill Belichick. It just wouldn't shock me. I read a report late last night or early this morning that the Eagles are going to try to offer Mike Vrabel head coaching money to be our defense coordinator. It's just a rumor. But I would like one of the coordinators that come in next year to have the ability to slide into that head coaching role if the disaster that ends this season slides into next year. That would be my philosophy. You give them a chance, but one of the coordinators, right, Vrabel, something like that, somebody could slide right in seamlessly as the head coach if that had to happen. What's up, Big Al? Easy to believe when you're winning. This is the most adversity this team has seen in 3 years and not handling it well at all. Yeah. I mean, they faced some adversity at the beginning of 2021, but there were no expectations. And then he gave his flower plant speech and everything blossomed. Man, I sound like Nick Sirianni saying that. And then it just kept going in a positive direction. This is the first time that they've trended downward since their trend upward began. really got to stop saying the word trend. Um, how does he handle it? And I don't know if you agree with this, Big Al, but I don't think winning this weekend fixes any of the problems. Because again, the Bucks are not a good team. The Bucks are more likely to fire Todd Bowles with a loss on Monday night than the Eagles are to fire Nick Sirianni with a loss on Monday night. You know, this has been the thing, since day one, because you don't just have one cliche guy in Nick Sirianni. You got two with Jalen Hurts as well. We have the Mr. Jalen Hurts is like Lance Storm to an extent. Remember his gimmick when he was like the most entertaining man in the world of professional wrestling? I am this. I am fun. I am exciting. It's Jalen Hurts. We want now to see more passion from Jalen Hurts. Nick can stay. Give him another year with a proper OC and DC replacements. But if the start of next year is bad, he needs to go quickly. And Zach, I get that, and that's how I feel right now. But again, on the offense and defensive coordinator position part, obviously the league sees that Brian Johnson isn't the root of all evil. It's not just one team now that's requested interviews with him. Now, on top of Carolina, I believe it was Tennessee requested permission to interview Brian Johnson. The league sees Brian Johnson's a smart guy, a great quarterback guy, a great mind of football. To me, that tells me the league sees it. And it goes back to the poll question I ran earlier in the week about would Nick Sirianni instantly get rehired as a head coach if he was fired? And I think the answer is no to that. He would get a job if he wanted as an offensive coordinator or a wide receiver coach, whatever. But with all these candidates that are floating around, young up-and-coming coordinators and legendary Hall of Fame coaches, Belichick, Carroll, Vrabel, Saban, Harbaugh, all these names floating around out there, Nick Sirianni wouldn't get a job right away. That tells me more right there. That Brian Johnson's got a better chance of getting a job next year than Nick Sirianni. Phil, if Mariota starts, you're in trouble. We're not in trouble if Kyle Trask starts, though. Just saying. Now, can't fire Sirianni. Overhaul the coordinator. Sure, Sirianni got them back in the playoffs in year one. Super Bowl. Yeah, I mean, it would be crazy, Defo, Freddie. If they fired a coach that in his first 3 years as a head coach took the team to the playoff all 3 years, and on top of that, made it to a Super Bowl one of those 3 years. That would be awful if they did it. Excuse me. But would you be shocked? I said I was. It's funny. Yesterday, I had a couple people come in the pizza shop and recognize me, not from the pizza shop, best pizza shop in Kennett Square, Fox's Pizza. And every time I bring up Fox's Pizza, it just happens to be the moment where my shop's scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Two people recognize me from the show, which is crazy to me. And they asked me about the situation. And I'm like, but think about it. Kotite fired after 1 year. Ray Rhodes, 3 years. Chip Kelly, less than 3 years. Dougie P, 5. We're only into year 3 with Nick Sirianni. Jeffrey Lurie does have a quick trigger. Outside of Andy Reid, he's very quick to pull the trigger on coaches. Just remember that. They won't. What's up? I'm going to call you Triple H because I think that's what you're trying to lean at with this name, Hunter Helmsley. Where's the word Hurst in there? Triple H. We'll call you Double H. They won't fire him, but definitely replace. And yeah, but does it concern or surprise or make you guys think when Brian Johnson's getting coordinator or head coaching interview after head coaching interview? Winning, I think, hurts us. And I talked about this a few weeks ago, I think, or at least it was on my mind to talk about, that we were in a retool season. We were a victim of our own success in 2021 and 2022. This was supposed to be the year where things took off, not previous years. Okay? We were supposed to start building towards something. We had instant success. We caught the league by storm. And now we've kind of been, caught up in our own success. I love to throw a reference to wrestling whenever I can. Philly seems to like to make coordinators rather than hiring qualified coordinators. But I still believe in the Philadelphia Eagles in the playoffs. I love that you still have belief, my man, Ty. My belief is waning deeply right now. It really is. It's getting tough every day to believe. Only way winning helps is if they win the Super Bowl, and that's not happening. Yeah. That's to the comment of me saying it doesn't matter if they win this week. I mean, if they get back to the championship game, say, maybe that changes the opinion of a lot of these things. But if anything, that making the championship game or the Super Bowl would validate really negative comments that they just coasted, Al. And that's not good. Thank you very much, Adam. Muchas gracias. Grind will never stop. Things might change, but the grind is always there. I'm always thinking of new ways to grind even harder. There's no good chance the Eagles go to the playoffs for 4 seasons in a row if Sirianni stays. There is a good chance. For some reason, I said no in there. I'm adding words. I'm putting words in your mouth, Ty. There's a good chance the Eagles go to the playoffs for 4 seasons in a row. Yeah, I mean this team. See, this is what's so frustrating about this team, and how I digest Ty's comment here. Really pushes that. This is a great team. You know, I wrote this down and we never really talked about it. Has that huge Super Bowl window closed on this team already? And the answer is no. This is still one of the elite teams in the NFL with elite talent. There's just something missing outside of talent at linebacker and safety and stuff like that. There is just something missing. But this team is still good enough. I mean, they're right there with the Cowboys again next year with no change. You bring back Brian Johnson and hell, Matt Patricia. We're still going to compete for the NFC's crown. There's enough bad teams in the NFC that we will continue to be a playoff team because we still got Jalen Hurts as our quarterback. We still have A.J. Brown. We still have a great offensive line that's going to go through some changes, but they're still great. You still got Jalen Carter. You still got really good players on this team. But is that more of an onus on Nick Sirianni that he's got all this talent, yet here we are. It's a leadership. Like, yeah, you want to complain about the offensive coordinator's play calls, or you want to complain about the switch of defensive coordinators, whatever. To me, the problem on this team is the leadership. Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. I want more emotion out of Jalen Hurts. I want more things said from Jalen Hurts. I want Nick Sirianni to hold players accountable. We need a little Nick Nurse and John Tortorella in. You take Nick Sirianni's positive way and just throw a little smidge of Nick Nurse and John Tortorella in him. You take the best attributes of all three of those, you got the perfect coach in sports. Problem is, Nick Sirianni preaches accountability, but we don't see it. We don't see it happening on the field. The results have been, I mean, we didn't lose 2 games to close the season. We went 1-5 in the last 6 games. That's not, you can't say, well, it was a small sample size. That's 6 football games. That's a pretty big, that's more than 30% of your season. What's that? 6 divided by 17. I don't know what the exact number is. That's a good percentage of your season right there. So we have a sample size to see. This team, as constructed by Howie Roseman, is going to continue to win. And we've seen even when they don't win, within a year, Howie Roseman fixes that. It's how do you sustain the success of getting to the Super Bowl? How do you keep not the playoff window open, the Super Bowl window open? That's the important thing, keeping the Super Bowl window. What's up, Maurice? How you doing this morning, my man? Morning, Mitchie Poo. How you doing? No, Joel Embiid again. Yeah, I saw something from Ramona Shelburne, and I believe her when she tweets stuff out about the Sixers. I think out of all the NBA national beat reporters, she's the most in tune with the Sixers organization. She put something out there that Joel Embiid's injury is similar to same one they had last year that he played through in the playoffs, but in the regular season, you know, it's normally like a 4-week I think she tweeted out 4-week injury. So we might see a few more games missed by one Mr. Joel Hands Embiid for sure. The Tampa Bay defense is very good. They were very good to start the year. They kind of had a drop off. I don't know if they've gotten back to being good or not. I will look into that for Monday's show when we do an official show kickoff. But yeah, maybe they're still pretty good. Sirianni looked defeated out there the last 6 weeks. He got a lot on his mind. And I saw somebody. Did you ever notice how, like, a president, when they start office, looks one way, and then 4 years later, they look like they've aged 30 years? Well, you take a picture of Nick Sirianni from week 1 this year and put up a picture of him at this past week. He looks like he's aged 30 years in the last 7 days, the last 6 weeks. To me, what you're saying here, Adam, that he looks defeated, tells me that the pressure is getting to him. It tells me that maybe, just maybe, he's been told he's on the hot seat, that he's got to figure something positive out. He's got to turn something around. Or it could potentially. Maybe he's been told by Jeffrey Lurie, hey, you lose 40-7 on Monday, you're done. You better get it together. You better at least get your guys to put up a fight. I don't know. I just can't get past some of the comments that are coming out of this locker room on a daily basis and how disjointed they all are. To me, it's a leadership issue on this team. Baker sometimes does enough. Yeah, he does. Baker he's like he's got that unbridled enthusiasm. He just hangs it around. Check, check, check. He traps us. Instead of a wrestling reference, we'll go with a Rounders reference right there. Which Hurts will show up? Well, the Hurts that's got a busted ass finger is the one that's going to show up, TMC. I accidentally called you Battlehawk earlier. TMC. I wonder if the other guys flipping the birds and Liam realized you're TMC. I was watching one of the other PSN shows, and they called you Battlehawk on it. I wonder if they realize who you really are. I think Eagles will inch it out. I hope so. Again, if Mariota starts, you're done. I think Tampa Bay is bad enough that Marcus Mariota could hypothetically win. It'll be a totally different game. It'll be a totally different offense. But I don't think it's a guaranteed lock that Mariota would cost us the game. We would still need to play good defense. We'd still need to run the ball more. Look, Jalen Hurts hasn't, I don't know if he threw yesterday after he spoke, but when he spoke yesterday, he said he hadn't thrown a football. That's just a perfect reason for this team to go back to what worked in week 3 against Tampa. They ran the ball 40 times against Tampa in week 3. That counts Hurts runs, scrambles, etc. 40 times for over 200 yards. We haven't done that since. I think that might have been the last time that DeAndre Swift even had 100 yards in a game. Fact check me if you want. I don't know. I'm just making that up. But it feels like it. Jalen Hurts' finger not being able to grip a football. And I'm just sitting here thinking about gripping a football and not having my middle finger on it. And I used to be able to throw a football as a kid. I wasn't a football player, but I knew how to throw a pretty good football. I'm just thinking here, if I'm holding a football like this and I'm trying to throw it, that middle finger not being on it is definitely going to make a major difference. Even if it's like braced up really tight. Maybe it gets braced into a position to hold the football. Now, I expect Jalen Hurts to play. I don't expect Jalen Hurts to miss a game. I don't. I expect Jalen Hurts to tough it out because that is his MO. That is who he is. He's that guy that's going to lay his body on. He leads by example for the most part, not with his words. I need him to lead with his words too. He's not. I need him to lead with on the field, which he hasn't done in a while. But Jalen Hurts is probably 95% likely to maybe 98% likely to play on Sunday. The Kyle Trask versus Marcus Mariota Bowl is more a little bit of sarcasm, a little bit of a joke in my in my opinion. Marcus Mariota did take all the first team reps from what I read in practice yesterday. Jalen Hurts was limited, which means he was there. He was on the field. He just didn't run any plays or anything like that. Mariota gameplay is equivalent to Kensington toilet. I don't even know what that means. Mariota's won playoff games. I got nothing against Marcus Mariota. In fact, I kind of think Marcus Mariota is a little underappreciated in the NFL to an extent. I mean, he had a lot of hype coming out of college. He was never going to live up to that hype. He was definitely one of those elite college quarterbacks that are just okay. But you can do better, or you could do worse than Marcus Mariota as a backup quarterback. And hey, just remember, we won our one Super Bowl because of a backup quarterback. Just saying. Not saying it'll happen this week or this year, but just saying. It's important to have a solid backup quarterback, especially when you got somebody like Jalen Hurts out there. But I don't know if any of that matters. I don't know if it matters that Jalen Hurts toughs it out. I don't know if it matters, if he can play or not, or who the quarterback is. If you've got a fractured locker room, if you've got guys not on the same page, if you've got guys coasting and waiting for the offseason, if you've got guys, as people have said, waiting for the next coordinator to step in, you've already lost. I'll be really curious to see if they come out and dominate the Buccaneers on Monday. That's just going to prove what Dallas Goedert said. And to me, that's more of a fireable offense. Winning and proving what Dallas Goedert said accurate is more of a fireable offense than, going out there and losing on Monday night 40-7 to the Buccaneers. I don't know why I keep saying 40-7. Really weird that I keep seeing myself locked in on that number. Yeah, TMC. Where is everybody? Everybody's ditched me today. Just you and a few others are here today. You and Adam, but that's okay. I talk to whoever wants to listen, my man. It's been a slow week algorithm wise. Only one show surpassed the 200 views on Twitter or YouTube this week. It's been a quiet week on the algorithm. It's all right. Whatever. I tried some new things with the thumbnail. Maybe that had something to do with it. But I kind of feel like a big win and them proving that they got there just coasting wise is a problem. I think it's cold in Philly in January and the Eagles want to play where it's warm. 40 chess. Is that what it is, Ty? Is that what it is? I got crushed again. For the 1 millionth time on Twitter yesterday. Hold on. We'll get back to this in a second. Mitchie Poo with breaking news. They've already hired Jarrett Mayo. That's breaking news. I said it yesterday on the show that he was going to be a candidate for the job. But let's see. At 37, Jarrett Mayo now will become the NFL's youngest head coach, taking over a title that Sean McVay held. Okay. Yeah, man. Breaking news. Jarrett Mayo, linebacker coach, new head coach of the New England Patriots. Thought he would probably be more of a defensive coordinator. We talked about wanting him here in Philly for our DC spot yesterday. Breaking news. Did not take long. To me, Mitch, this tells me that this was the plan all along. That he was taking a from, but like they probably talked about this. Bill Belichick probably gave his nod of approval for his guy Mayo to take over for him. That's what this tells me. It's shocking that the last position that became open yesterday is the first that got filled too. Very interesting. Very interesting. Dave, what's up, my man? How you doing this morning? At this point, I just have to see our first 5 to 7 plays to see if anything is actually adjusted. Yeah, just like I said in the Giants game, as soon as play 1 happened against the Giants, I knew we lost. So yeah, back to this comment from Ty: the cold weather and 40 chess and whatnot. Look, got crushed on Twitter yesterday again. Now, I want to talk about all the NFL games this weekend. You got the Chiefs on Saturday night, home against the Miami Dolphins. Chiefs are 4.5-point favorites. And rumor has it, I'm no meteorologist, but rumor has it, it's going to be cold as freaking hell on Saturday night in Kansas City, Missouri. I'm hearing -20, -30 wind chills. And again, for the 1 millionth time, I made a post. All stadiums in all sports should be domes. Retractable roofs at a minimum. I'm tired of weather playing a factor in sporting events. I am. I'm tired of it. There's no need for it. And how many times I got called this word or that word, words I can't say on YouTube, or I would get banned because I'm not tough enough and I don't like the cold. And football is supposed to be a man's game, I was told. And that's how you play it, in the cold, in the rain, in the snow, whatever. Dude, it is 2024. We've made advances in health, in safety of athletes. We've evolved our sporting events. But two things still stick out. You still got weather playing factors, and you still got artificial turf on one field. That's causing problems. I think we're smart enough as humans and as individuals. Let's fix these problems. Not only would a dome eliminate weather issues like negative 30 wind chills that might happen in Kansas City, but it would make the viewing experience for the fans better because they wouldn't be freezing their butts off. And I'm supposedly not a real fan because I said that, and nobody wants me at an Eagles game now because I say that. The weather factor, I'm tired of it. It's not just because I don't like the cold weather, which I don't like cold weather. I hate the cold weather. Hate it, hate it, hate it. Okay? It's not just that. Like, it's not just because of my personal beliefs. You're not going to get an honest result on Saturday night between the Chiefs and the Dolphins because both teams, even Kansas City, who plays in the cold weather and the snow, even they're going to be affected if it really has negative 30 wind chills at some point in the game. That's not what people should play in. It's just not. We're calling Mitchie now Mitchie Pooh Schefter. Nah, he's much better than Adam Schefter. Sir Alex Ferguson also gave his nod of approval for David Moyes to take over Manchester United. We all know how that turned out. No, we do not all know that, Zach. I know who Manchester United is. I have no idea who Sir Alex Ferguson is. I have no idea who David Moyes is. I don't even know if I'm saying their names right. I now agree 100%. I'm so sick of Bills all year. Good that it decided by run in the snow. So you agree. The weather playing such a factor, it's just unnecessary. It's 2024. We've evolved as a civilization, but we still play in 8 inches of snow and torrential downpours and 40-mile-an-hour winds and this and that in stadiums. A dome solves all that. You got all these new multi-billion-dollar stadiums being built. Put a retractable roof on it. If you want to play outside in September when the weather's nice, fine. But this weekend, every stadium should be in a dome. It just should. It should. The playoffs, your championship should not be decided by weather. And on top of that, you would make more money as a sports team if you had a dome because you can rent your stadium out for WrestleMania. You can rent your stadium out for concerts. You could do other things if you had a dome on that stadium or a retractable roof. I'm worried about WrestleMania in Philly. Early April still could snow. Still be cold. I'm not looking forward to sitting out in 40-degree weather watching WrestleMania. I've always said the Phillies and Eagles should be retractable roofs in the light of cold or bad weather. Absolutely agree. They missed the boat by not when they built those stadiums in the early 2000s. As a fan, I love snow games. I don't. I hate them. Okay, Juan, and welcome to the show. A little late to the party. 39 minutes in. Holy crap. Way late. Barely talked about the other games yet. I hate it. I don't want to see guys slipping and sliding. I don't want to sit in it for sure. But I don't want to see guys slipping and sliding. I don't want to see fumbles because it's snowy out there. Or their fingers are so goddamn cold they can't hold the football. So they fumble. I don't want to see that. I don't. Well, that analogy doesn't work. Sir Alex Ferguson is revered as one of the best managers of all time, John Madden levels. he left United and handpicked the Mays to take over. It didn't go. Okay. Yeah, sorry. Jokes go over my head sometimes, but that analogy, Zach, as a non-huge soccer fan, like I like soccer, I appreciate it. Just don't know all the names and all the big timers and stuff like that. That's why home field advantage matters. Absolutely, that's fine, that's fair. But that's also the point I brought up was because someone ahead said the Eagles were playing. I think it was Ty said Eagles played 40 chess by purposely losing so they didn't have to play in Philadelphia. It's going to be nasty this weekend in Philly. They didn't want to play here in Philly. So they purposely lost so they could go to Tampa. Home field advantage matters. And I think it matters more for the fans and what they could do and cheer and scream and cause a ruckus for the opponents. I don't need the weather. If the Eagles lose a game in this playoffs because of rain or snow or a slippery field or a ball slips out of a hand or whatnot, if the Dolphins lose to the Chiefs because it's just too cold, they have an excuse. I don't want excuses in the playoffs, especially in the playoffs. They don't. Bills building soccer, new Bills stadium, dumb, can't use it much. Put a dome on it, at least a retractable one. All players, a million one are no home field advantage. They don't play in cold. At least the 100 million stars. They don't want to play in this kind of weather. I'm not sure the home field would be an advantage for Philly this season, as Philly fans have been rabid. And that brings up something. I got it on my second page here. Darius Slay again calling out the fans. He's happy that we're not playing in Philly because of the billing. You deserve to get booed. Big play. Don't call me Darius Slay. You deserve it. Why? Because your defense has played like dog trash for the last 6 weeks. Maybe longer than that. You deserve to get booed. That's the right of a fan. That's the right of spending how much money to sit in the freezing cold and watch your football team. You play like trash, you're gonna get treated. Not like trash. We gotta rephrase. You play like trash, you're gonna get booed. It's just the way it is. So Darius Slay, and then he tries to come out, a few hours later and say, look, you guys overreacted to what I was saying. Come on, you fall for it every time. Backtracked on his words so much. Darius Slay, I love Big Play Slay. I love his wife, Jen Williams. Fantastic, great for the community. They do so much for the fans. Love them. But Darius Slay in the locker room and on the field, starting to get on my nerves a little bit. Starting to run his course here in Philly. His ego's this big, but his play is only this big. It's time for Darius Slay to put up or shut up, in my opinion. They play golf in bad weather, don't they? Most of the time, outside of in England, when they're at St. Andrews for the Open Championship, no, they do not. When it's raining, unless it's a light rain, they delay the game. If it's snowing, they don't play, obviously. But rain delays the game of golf. What the hell did Cam Davis do yesterday? Benny-On had a good day, 3 under. My man, Aaron Rye, one of my bets I have this week at like 65-1, 5 under yesterday. Was one shot off the lead till Cam Davis at like 7 o'clock at night decided to shoot a 62 yesterday. Go figure. It's a long tournament. Opponent field advantage matters, but so does the safety of fans and players. Playing in these conditions is not safe. This is an extreme situation on Saturday night, too. Like, it's one thing to play in the rain or the snow a little bit. We're talking minus 30-degree wind chill. That ain't safe for anybody. Not at all. And I wouldn't be shocked if that weather forecast stays that way. And we know the way the world is. 2 days later, that weather could shift one way or another. But I would not be shocked if they adjusted the start time of that game. Move it to earlier in the day when there's daylight. It's a little warmer. Bump it to Sunday if that would affect help the players a little bit. There's no need for it. Put domes on stadiums. It's so simple. It solves so many issues. Then you don't have to worry about moving a game to another time. How many times we've had it happen twice now with the Eagles where a snow game got postponed Remember the Minnesota, the Joe Webb game got bumped from a Sunday to a Tuesday. No need for it. Put a dome on every stadium. Solves everything. Solves rainouts in baseball. Solves all the issues that weather causes on games. And it eliminates a big excuse that losing teams have when they play in the elements. Little old Doris, who loves her Chiefs and has been a season ticket holder for 50 years, cannot be in that stadium. Yeah. I mean, I hate the cold. I hate when it's 35 degrees out. I hate it. But I wouldn't be sitting. I definitely not be sitting in that weather in Kansas City. You were at the Joe Webb game. Yeah. I mean, there's no need. We have an excuse why we lost that game to Joe Webb. Because of the weather, the delay in the game, et cetera, et cetera. Have a dome. Not a problem. Yeah, I know it's not ideal. You can't put a dome on Lambeau Field. You can't put a dome on Fenway Park. You can't put a dome on a lot of the old stadiums. But over time, every stadium that keeps getting built needs to be built the new way. That way, eventually, down the line, when I'm 700 years old, that this problem is not there. But what bothers me more about the no dome thing is the fact that so many people hate my opinion so much. And their outdated reasoning. Like K1's reason here, because you can't put a dome on Lambeau Field. It's a valid thing. You can't. But the reasons that I'm told why you don't put domes on stadiums is because it's a man's game and it's a tough person sport and, some other words that I won't use that I am because I don't like cold weather. Go through my Twitter page and some of the things I'm called on the dome post. I was called Elliott Shore Parks because supposedly within a minute of me tweeting it out, ESP did before or after me too. Everyone's like, well, you must be dumb too because ESP just tweeted this same thing out. Like, I actually agree with ESP a lot more than most people. I don't think he's as bad as most people do. But anyway, we've evolved, not just in sports, but as a civilization so much. We've got advancements in everything in the world. What the world was like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago to what it is now is better. We care about people's health and safety more as athletes than ever before. But yet we make them go out there and play in weather because it's a man's sport. That's such an outdated way of thinking about things in life, not just in sports. A man's man. That just doesn't work anymore. It's just not the way it is. Owners would be smart to build the stadiums with domes so they can host a Super Bowl, a WrestleMania, a Billy Joel concert, a Bruce Springsteen concert in January. Anything. There's so much more money to be made by putting a dome on a stadium. Plus, you're protecting your fans. You're protecting your players. It doesn't mean, you don't have to have AstroTurf anymore in a dome. There's plenty of dome stadiums that have real turf. Hell, I forget what stadium it is, Zach. One of the NFL stadiums, I believe it is, has a retractable grass field. So they can pull it out and put it in the sunlight. Another one has it retractable so they can protect it underneath the stadium. The advancements in technology make it so easy to have real grass and a roof over the heads of every stadium. But yet we're so outdated in this philosophy. I don't get it. It just makes zero sense to me. Zero. Almost at the office, have my breakfast ready. Had a bowl of cereal this morning. Yeah, we lost the Super Bowl one, that shitty retractable grass field. So the Arizona's got the retractable field. I know I remember hearing about the retractable field. Somewhere. That's right. It's Arizona. And yeah, it was in bad shape that day. But again, something like that shouldn't be an excuse why you lose a game, because it should be easy to fix that problem. With the technology that exists in the world now, there should be no stadium issues, weather issues that give a losing team an excuse. There just shouldn't be. 2024, guys. Let's be better. Let's be smarter. But no, we're not. The state of Arizona is House of Horrors for Philly. Yeah. 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 I was just talking with one of my truck drivers that delivered my food about Larry Fitzgerald came up, and it brought up bad memories, thinking of how he torched Brian Dawkins in back then when we were in the championship game against them on that touchdown. Man, Arizona's been a house of horrors for Philly for a long time. Really has been. What's up, Marshawn? I shouted you out earlier. You like to call me Negatron, but you weren't here yet. Arizona has the retractable field, as does Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, as does the soon-to-be newly renovated Bernabeu. I don't know if I'm saying that one right. Stadium. Again, a lot of soccer-related references from Zach today. It's easy. There's a fix. There is a fix to all weather-related and field-related issues. It would not be wrong for MetLife Stadium to rip that turf up and put fresh grass down. Just wouldn't. It's beyond annoying at this point to me. Arizona grass was bad because they decided to try a new type of grass. Exactly. It wasn't because of the retractable grass. It was because of what they. Yeah, exactly. You don't experiment on the Super Bowl. You experiment in preseason games. You experiment in the off season, not in the Super Bowl. But the point of this is, and we've gone off on like a 20-minute tangent now, just on weather and domes and stuff like that. Oh man, I haven't seen this, Bobby. We're gonna get off the weather thing here. I got to catch up on comments, but Bobby's saying supposedly an anonymous Eagles source, AJ is 100% not. You got to put the not in cap locks next time, Bobby. Not playing on Monday night. But if that's the case, that's a huge loss. Fitzgerald torched the Eagles every chance he had, and rumor had it we had a trade in place for him. Yes, I remember that rumor as well, Marshawn. Yeah, we were talking. I was talking one of my food delivery drivers, Daryl Davis. Is that his name? David Davis, something like that. If you're watching, I subscribed you to this channel on your phone while we were chatting. They were talking about the greatest wide receivers of all time, and I put Larry Fitzgerald's name in that top 5, top 6 category, and we were debating it a little bit there. Always get the soccer reference, and I get it. I love them. I like to grow my soccer knowledge a little bit. I do. We will be Super Bowl champs. I'm standing on it. We will beat the Bucs by more than 5. Even with this breaking rumor, anonymous rumor that AJ Brown is out, Eric. I love, and I appreciate you tuning in, my man. Make sure you hit like, share, subscribe, follow, whatever. I love that there's still a group of Eagles Nation that is still 100% backing this team, making a deep run, and I love it. I do. The only problem I have with it is it means it validates Dallas Goedert's comments that they were coasting. And to me, that's a bigger picture issue, that your coach and your team allowed the players to coast after 10-1. That to me is a big issue. That to me is not a sustainable way of doing things. Natural grass is easy to maintain. Absolutely it is. Supposedly anonymous and 100% should not appear in the same. That's true. That's true. I love it. I love it. If AJ out, we got Julio. Let's not act like Julio Jones is Julio Jones Hall of Famer anymore. Julio Jones is still a good wide receiver, but he's not Hall of Fame Julio. And Jalen Hurts still has not thrown a football since Sunday night. So got to worry about Jalen Hurts' his limb, finger, I have no idea if it's true or not. I'm going to be researching A.J. Brown after the show. You know you got me on that one. All I know is that this game on Monday will be over by halftime either way. I said it at the beginning of the show, Marshawn. We'll know it. Somebody said at the beginning of the show, we'll know in the first 5 or 6 plays whether we win or not. I said we'll know after one play. Just like against the Giants, I said it out loud. We're losing this game after play one when Hassan Reddick got dropped back into coverage and got beat by the tight end for like 19 yards. I'm like, game's over. Done. Don't need to watch the rest of it. I knew. The core of this team has been together for so long. I have to believe they know what they are doing. Fly, Eagles, fly. Ty? Yeah, the core of this team has been together for a while, and some of that core will stay together. But I don't find it acceptable to coast. You could have had home field advantage throughout the entire playoffs. You could have let's look at this a different way. Okay? Wouldn't having with the way this season ended, AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts getting hurt in that last game. Devontae Smith hurt 2 games ago. Wouldn't having the bye week this week be so clutch? It would help massively, not just for home field advantage, but it would help give these guys an extra week to rest, to get healthy. But you coasted. And everything's going to be fine, and we're just going to flip the switch. Well, that extra week of rest would have saved so much stress. Hell, we wouldn't have gotten Hurts and A.J. Brown hurt on Sunday. Because if we had home field advantage locked up, they wouldn't have played. The coasting is such a problem, big picture to me. And this Sunday, we're going to learn whether that's the case or not. Watch this offense have Jalen throw the ball 45 times with it. Absolutely. They should go back to the game plan of Tampa, week 3. Run the ball 40 times. I think they still passed the ball 37. Run the ball 40 times. Dominate on the ground. But no, what they're going to do, first play of the game, I'm going to say it. If they throw a 40-yard bomb to Julio Jones or whoever's out there, complete or incomplete, I don't care. We're losing the game. Why are they dropping Reddick back to coverage so much this year? Again, we've talked about this. This is why he wanted out of Arizona. Don't forget. Smitty did have a bye week. And he was a limited participant in practice yesterday, I believe, or maybe a full. He practiced yesterday. So he's trending in the right direction. But AJ, as we heard from Bobby, he's got an inside source. He ain't playing. Yeah, I mean, you coasted. And everybody's just going to flip the switch. You could have had the bye week. You could have given your guys an extra week to get healthy. Jordan Davis, who's fat and out of shape, and according to Howard Eskin, is being fined every day that he's overweight. I think he's gassed because he's played almost double the amount of snaps of last year. Georgetown Carter, he's gassed at this point. Fletcher Cox is playing more than he's ever played before. Your offensive line is tired. You get healthy by getting that bye week. Flipping the switch is BS, and I agree. Without a doubt, flipping the switch is such a lame excuse. It is. And I hate it. I hate it. No AJ, you're through. Probably. Flip the switch off on this team. Yeah. I mean, that's how we feel. That's how we feel right now. I'm trying to see if I want to start talking about some of these other games this weekend. I talked about Darius Slay. Oh, and we're talking about the defense and flipping a switch. Just see Baldy again. Baldy's been all over the place this year with the Eagles. And he did another video yesterday talking about, if he was playing D for an opposing team, he would literally shout plays out before the snap because that's how predictable our defense is. That's not flipping a switch. And all of a sudden your defense is going to be good. For the last 6 weeks, your defense has trended so far downward that literally anybody can see. Anybody can pick it apart. Everybody is a professional, all 22 video breakdown expert when you're looking at Eagles defensive plays and style. Anybody. You could pull an 8-year-old off the street, and they could predict it. That's right, Mitchie Poo. I don't know how many likes there are, but hit that like button, share button, subscribe button, follow button, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, wherever you're watching. Like, share, retweet, follow, please. And continue the comments that come in here. We got about 30 minutes left in the show today. The Eagles need a hard reset for sure. But again, you don't get a reset when you show up 40 minutes late to the show, K1. I'm just saying. You don't get what you want. This coaching staff is too stupid to just run the ball. Even in the rain, they rather live and die. That's on Howie. That's on Jeffrey. The guys that yelled at our former coach for running the ball too much in 40-mile-an-hour winds. You want to throw the ball 45 times a game? You better put a damn dome over your stadium. At least then the weather wouldn't affect the balls as much, the throws as much. The sad part about this is we won't talk Sixers until spring. I'm ready to talk Sixers, Marshawn. I've been itching to talk Sixers. I told you that. I got it. Yesterday, I put out a lot of tweets that rubbed people the wrong way or disagreed with me. And I put it out, even though we've lost a few games and even though Joel Embiid's out still, I am not making a big, bold trade at the deadline. I know Pat Beverly came out last night and said, we need to make a trade. If we can't waste Joel and Tyrese's season, make a bold trade. I'm not making big, bold trades. Yeah, I might tweak the backup center role. I might tweak the third ball handler off the bench. But I'm not trading multiple first-round picks. I'm not trading big assets. We need another center that could play when Joel Embiid sits. Paul Reed's fine as the backup to Joel when Joel plays. We need a center that could start when Joel's not out there. And Pat Beverly, as your only other point guard on this team, is not good enough. He's playing well, but he shouldn't be the only other point guard on this team. So we do need another point guard. 9 likes, that's all this video's got? What that? Now we're up to 10? Embarrassing. We've been pushing on YouTube alone 25 viewers most of this show. Embarrassing. We've got 8 likes on Facebook right now. We've almost got as many likes on Facebook as YouTube. That's embarrassing to the YouTube crowd. YouTube algorithm's been trash all week. So Martian came in after me. Let the record show. We are not on trial here. The Core 12 was a little disappointing today. Just a little bit. I've been here the whole time, just hiding in the woodwork, just waiting to pounce at the right moment when I was extra negative. Is that what it was? Time to talk Union? No, Dave covers that for me. It's a little inside joke for a few inside people. If anyone from PSN's watching, they know what I'm talking about. Joe will not win the MVP if he misses 7 more games. He's going to miss 7 more games, so he's not going to win the MVP. Just plain and simple. And I don't know how I feel about that you got to play a minimum amount of games to win it. That new rule, finished my cup of coffee with 27 minutes to go. Good thing I brought a glass of fresh OJ here to get me through the final 25 minutes here. If you don't hit the like button, you are a Brian Johnson supporter. Yeah, I agree. You want Brian Johnson to be the head coach of this team if you don't hit the like button. And yes, remember, 2 of those likes are mine. And then on the replays, the third one, when I go to work and watch, I always like the video from my wife's YouTube account at work. 3 likes, eventually, are always from me. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about you have to play a minimum amount of games. But anyway, trust me, next week, if the Eagles lose on Monday, which there's a chance, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm sure we'll be talking a lot of Eagles. But by the end of next week, it'll be back to Sixers. Back to Sixers. A little bit of Sixers at a minimum every single day. And I'm here for it. I need something fresh. And we're only like 30 days till pitchers and catchers report. Philly's locked up there. All but Alec Boehm arbitration have been settled. Other things are happening, my man. Embiid was robbed of the Rookie of the Year because he played a quarter of the season. Yeah. And Dario. Don't forget Dario Saric had a great rookie year as well, Marshawn. Oh, you're saying Dario too. I was such a big homie fan his rookie year. I thought Dario Saric was going to be a great player, my man. I really did. I mean, he's still doing well. He's coming off the bench, Phoenix or Golden State, whatever right now. And he's playing well this year. But, man, I love Dario on this team, man. And that's why neither one, both of them got the votes got split. If one of them got all the votes, they would have won. So being two rookies or two rookie of the year candidates on the same team kind of hurt each of them. The homie Dario, man, I've wanted him back on this team. Him off our bench is something we're lacking. A little toughness, a little grittiness. I would love a guy like Dario. Well, maybe not this year now that we have a deeper bench after the Harden trade. See, we can talk Sixers. We can talk NBA. Look at the Clippers. They just gave a huge extension to Kawhi Leonard. Talking about the Paul George and James Harden extension. I think they're like 14-1 this month or in the last month or something like that. Insane run that they're on right now. And they think that just because December and January is going well, that James Harden was the answer. Just wait till the playoffs start, Clipper Nation. It's going to be a disaster. He rebounded, passed, shot the three. Dude, it was a great lineup. I really wanted that lineup to do something. I did. All right, let's get to the rest of the games this weekend in the NFL. Something I was sitting there writing down all the games with the point spreads and all, kind of just thinking to myself out, like, what's going to happen this weekend? And there's going to be a lot of good football games and matchups this weekend. Anonymous sources say Flyers, but Flyers have kind of trended a little bit down, but they've been in the news because of the Cutter situation and Torts and how he's handling things. Flyers are going to get talked about. I'm going to recreate my "What's Up with the Flyers" overlay graphic, and we're going to bring Flyers writers on here. Once the Eagles season ends, just be prepared for a different show. This show is boomed during the Eagles season, but with a lot more guests, a lot more flexibility in the conversation, a lot of stuff will happen. Technically, James doesn't have to be an all-star in the playoffs for the Clippers to win. Technically. But who has faith that Kawhi Leonard's even going to play in the playoffs? He's always hurt, right? Flyers are 7 games over 500. They are. They've had a great season. Overachieving season, for sure. But anyway, when I was looking at the games this weekend in the NFL wildcard round, something stuck out to me first and foremost. The level of quarterback play this weekend, the names that are playing quarterback this weekend. Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Tua, Matthew Stafford, Jalen Hurts. There are some elite, and let's not forget about Joe Flacco. Only one of like 3 guys that have actual Super Bowl wins under their belt playing this weekend. There is some elite quarterback play that could happen this weekend if weather doesn't play in a factor. That Chiefs-Dolphins game should be an elite football game. It should be a 35-31 Chiefs or Dolphins win. But because of the weather, it's going to be like a 12-10 game. Maybe less than that. Elite football matchups this weekend. So let's go down the board like we normally do on Fridays. We go through the whole slate of Sunday games. We'll do the Saturday and Sunday games here. First, you got Cleveland versus Houston. In Houston, C.J. Stroud's first playoff experience, first playoff game. Houston's a 2-point favorite. Marshawn right away just jumping with all the predictions at once. Browns, Chiefs, Rams, Packers, Ravens, Eagles. Well, Ravens don't play this weekend. Ravens are on bye. So I think you're missing the Steelers-Bills game in your predictions here, Marshawn. But anyway, the Browns you've got winning. Joe Flacco winning on the road against Houston. I want to see C.J. Stroud win. But I agree. I think Cleveland wins. The defense will find a way to shut C.J. Stroud down. But the future is bright for Houston with C.J. Stroud. And Ryans is their head coach. A lot of good young talent there. Just the defense, not Joe Flacco. The defense will save the day there. But their future is bright for sure. Cleveland will be a one-and-done winner. Then you got the Chiefs-Dolphins game. I don't know what's going to happen with Chiefs and Dolphins. Will they play on Saturday night in that bad weather? Will they move it? In a neutral field, I would say it would be a 3 or 4 point Chiefs win, high-scoring game. But with that weather, I still think the Chiefs win at home. But I can't predict the score. By the way, the Browns game, I think it's going to be a very close game, low scoring. I wrote down 21-20, and that's about where I feel it'll go. Something super close like that. But the Chiefs-Dolphins game, I can't predict the score So I have no idea when they're going to play and what the weather's going to be like when they play. But I think in the bad weather, the Chiefs hold the advantage there. We got Browns, Chiefs, Dallas, Detroit, Bills. Bobby, break my heart. Put the Bucks in there. Look, we're not worried about the Bucks game. That'll be Monday. Eagles, Bucks. We'll do our predictions for that game Monday. First game on Sunday, you got Steelers at Buffalo. Bills are a 10-point favorite. The Steelers are probably the worst team in the playoffs on paper, in my opinion. I think the Steelers get demolished by Buffalo. Buffalo is the only team outside of Baltimore I think can make the Super Bowl for the AFC. They're red hot right now. 5-1 since they fired Ken Dorsey. Complete opposite since we demoted / fired Sean Desai and did not do the same with Brian Johnson. The Bills, I think, win by 20 at a minimum in that game. It's going to be brutal. Then 4:30, we got Packers at Cowboys. A lot of mixed emotions and mixed feelings on this game. There are people predicting the Packers will beat Dallas in Dallas. That is very hard for me to say. I don't buy the Cowboys. Dak's proven to be a choke artist in the playoffs, but at some point they're going to have to be, they're going to have to win at some point probably. Mike McCarthy's probably coaching for his job just as much as Nick Sirianni is at this point. Cowboys 7-point favorites. I think you kind of have to take the Cowboys to beat the Packers. My prediction for Monday will still be the Bucks. Yeah, okay. Nothing will change this weekend. Jordan Love, just like CJ Stroud, young quarterback, first playoff appearance. Packers always do it right with their quarterbacks. They're patient. One thing no franchise is with their young quarterbacks is patient. And they've proven first with Aaron Rodgers, sitting for years and giving him time to develop once he did start. Did the same thing with Jordan Love. Didn't rush it. Yeah, I wouldn't bet Dallas to win. I wouldn't bet Dallas in the 7 points. And the Packers are a gritty team. LaFleur's coaches them pretty well. Just Dallas is a talented team. If I had to do an NFC power rankings, it would be 49ers, Cowboys, then everybody else. So you kind of feel like you got to put the Cowboys to win, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Packers pulled out an upset. And then the final game is the Rams versus the Lions in Detroit. I'm going Rams beating Detroit. This is not a knock on Detroit. This is more me just sticking to my guns that the Rams were going to surprise people this year. Because everybody was anti-Rams because of how bad they were last year. They're healthy and they're making a run. And there's another reason why I want the Rams to win this weekend. I'm predicting a Rams win because it will be the first, even if he doesn't play, career victory for Carson Wentz. I just want Carson Wentz to step out on the field for 1 minute just so he could play and win a playoff game. Yeah, I'm going Rams. I'm going Rams over the Lions. It's a shame. That's how I feel. Jordan Love is the same age as Jalen. Yeah, okay. I didn't know that. Not exactly young. But Aaron Rodgers wasn't exactly young when he took over. They're just very patient. They give their young quarterbacks time to develop instead of thrusting them into an unconquering situation. And they haven't done it once. They've done it twice now. I don't know if Jordan Love is going to be another Hall of Fame level quarterback like Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. Probably not. But he's going to be at a minimum a very serviceable quarterback for the foreseeable future for the Green Bay Packers. Who's taking Love over Hurts? Nobody. If you're taking Love over Hurts, me and you got to go out back and have a little conversation. No way. I need a mean wild card parlay this weekend. I haven't even looked at DraftKings for betting yet. Follow me on Twitter, mister. If you don't already do. And I'll post a parlay on Twitter. I always do. I'll probably do like a money line or a teaser. Maybe I'll drop a super teaser or something like that. The games that I'm most confident in right now is Cleveland winning. I'm not sure by how much. I'm confident in the Bills covering the 10-point spread. Those two games are the games I'm most confident in. So that's where I'm looking. I'm not sure how a parlay will go for me this weekend, but I'm sure I will put one together. And I always post my bets on Twitter. I can't pick Green or I know sometimes I post them on Instagram too and TikTok, so make sure you're following me. I can't pick Green Bay when Carolina scored 30 points on them. That's true. Then you can't pick Tampa when Tampa was only able to score 9 points on Carolina. Yeah, I think the Eagles could score more than 9 points, right? Just saying. But again, just think about all the quarterback play this weekend. There's some elite and future stars in CJ Stroud and Jordan Love playing this weekend. Phil wouldn't even include Benny on his Sony Open card. I have Benny on my card. I didn't bet him, but he's in. Hold on, I'll tell you how many lineups did I put Benny on in. I got my notebook here for golf. Benny on was in 5 of my 21 DraftKings lineups. Just so you know, I just didn't bet him outright. I could only put 6. I only put 6 outrights together. This week I have a budget, and I picked like 8 or 9 golfers, and I start spreading my $10 out. And when my $10 out, the rest of the names get cut. Benny on got the cut. Yeah, he played well. He shot 3 under. He shot 3 under yesterday. Cam Davis ain't going to keep up the pace that he shot yesterday. Benny Hanna. No, it's Benny on. I'm fixing your pronunciation. Yeah, seriously. You guys want to see me mispronounce names, just watch golf. Fairway to Heaven Tuesday nights, because God damn, I pronounce a lot of golf names wrong. There's a lot of Europeans and guys with funky ass names on the PGA Tour. And I butcher them all. It's not even a question. It is just straight awful how I pronounce poorly their names. I just did a quick reset on the side here, and we are up to 15 likes now on YouTube, it looks like. I will give you guys credit. You've rallied, got it up to 15. Not good enough. Should be 25, 30, but, you didn't want YouTube or Facebook to outdo YouTube. So, is that OJ or a screwdriver? Wouldn't you like to know? Wouldn't you like to know? Can't tell you. Can't give out my secrets. But if I'm drinking a screwdriver at 9:15 in the morning on a Friday, when I've got to go work a 12-hour shift at Fox's Pizza Den in Kennett Square, come see me this weekend. As always, we all got problems in Kennett Square if I'm drinking a screwdriver at 9:15 in the morning. Just saying. Just saying. Elite quarterbacks and fairly younger head coaches in these playoffs, too. I think it's a sign of the new NFL. Yeah, the NFL's changing. Younger coaches, that's the way. The only thing that might give us a chance, and the rumor that Mike Vrabel is Howie and Jeffrey's top target for defense coordinator, and that they're willing to pay him head coaching money to be our defense coordinator. Only way Mike Vrabel doesn't get a head coaching job is because that's the way to go now. People want the next young assistant to be their head coach. So it's the way it is. Teams draft quarterbacks young, and they stick them out there right away. CJ Stroud, I didn't think he was ready. I mean, he's proven me wrong that he's ready. Bryce Young wasn't ready. He was thrown out there. Anthony Richardson, I know he got hurt. He wasn't ready to get thrown out there. Desmond Ridder hasn't been ready all his whole career. Malik Willis and Will Levis, they're not ready. Everybody gets thrust out there way too quick. Coffee's done. And if this looks like coffee to you got to fix your eyes, my man. That's orange. 16 likes makes you a Gannon supporter, not flattering. Well, I am a Jonathan Gannon supporter now. We miss Jonathan Gannon on this defense. We do. Jonathan Gannon is greater than Sean Desai and Matt Patricia combined. I don't think that's a bold statement at all. I don't think that's a hot take. I don't. What I think is that he's greater than them. Power rankings, defensive coordinators, Gannon, Desai, Patricia. If you did a power ranking, we'll throw. So you got Gannon, Desai, Patricia, and throw Jim Schwartz in there too. The last 4 defensive coordinators of this team. Throw them in a power ranking. I guarantee Gannon is 1 or 2 in that power rankings for everybody. Iced coffee is the nectar of the gods. Iced coffee's overrated, honestly. Coffee's a warm drink, not a cold drink. Just saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's... Oh, man. I'm not even going to try. I'm not even going to try with that one, K1. I know who you're talking about, but I've never had to try to say his name yet, so I'm not going to try. Um, this defense will make you miss Billy Davis. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh man, Philip, you are hell bent on wanting likes on the stream. Who says they support Gannon? Hey, I'm hell bent on likes and shares and subscribes. That's all about building the algorithm. Got to get the algorithm fixed. We butchered it this week. Got to do something. Show's grown. Show's gaining steam. And this week it just hit a brick wall. I saw Matt Patricia got an interview request from the Patriots. That's got to be a joke. I saw that too. But breaking news, as Mitchie Poo said earlier in the show, that they have already hired Jared Mayo as their head coach with the Patriots. So Matt Patricia, maybe he goes there and be the defensive coordinator under Jared Mayo. Maybe. I don't know. But the only place that Matt Patricia would get a head coaching job would be with the Patriots. So he's not getting a head coaching job. He's going to be a defensive coordinator or an assistant somewhere next year. God forbid if he's still with the Eagles next year. That would be a disaster. Disaster right there. Not wanting. Not wanting likes. I support Jonathan Gannon. We would have a better chance against the Bucs on Monday night if Jonathan Gannon was our defensive coordinator. Just plain up. Straight up. I'm writing something down here. And it's going to be a tweet after the show to help promote the show. And it's going to be more Jonathan Gannon hype versus Desai and Matt Patricia. Just saying. Just saying. I am really shocked going back to Mr. saying the Patricia stuff. I'm really shocked that the Patriots hired another guy so quickly in Jared Mayo. I knew he was going to get interviews. I knew. I just refreshed Twitter to see what else was breaking and out there. And I see my man Seamus Doyle saying, getting hate for very based take. All stadiums should be domed. Hey, I thought he was making fun of him for saying it. And I'm back on the dome kick. The dome and the Jonathan Gannon kick. My two most unpopular opinions in weeks here. You know? Very, very unpopular takes. He said it again. You just lost half of your viewers. Oh, well. If you don't like my takes, go watch ESP. Go watch Jacob Media. Go watch The Silly Man. Go watch Chris Simpleton. Go watch those other wackadoos. They're going to say much worse than Jonathan Gannon is a better defense coordinator than Sean Desai and Matt Patricia combined. This team has not broken me, but it's definitely put me in the dumps. And yo, my name is spelled wrong, K1. You want to piss me off? Put 2 L's in my name. That pisses me off. It clearly says Phil. First off, Philip is only something that my mother would call me. Secondly, Philip is spelled with 1 L, not 2. Just saying. Get the name right. I thought Vrabel was going to be a Patriot. I really thought Vrabel would be the coach too. But the quickness of the Jared Mayo hiring tells me that Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick have been talking about this for a while, and they had a plan to play. They literally just gave their press conference yesterday of Belichick retiring or moving on. He's not retiring. He says he wants to coach again. Whereas Nick Saban says he just wants to play golf every single day. I don't buy it. I think Nick Saban at least works in football again at some point. But Belichick wants to coach again. So him moving on and literally the next day, Mayo already being hired, tells me the plan has been in place for a little while now. That they've had this plan there. Next, he'll be calling for Kenny Gainwell to replace Swift next season. I would never back that. Well, Swift ain't going to be here next year. Let's be honest with that. If Sunday or if Monday's the last game of the season, it's the last game of the season in Midnight Green for DeAndre Swift. 17 likes is what Gannon supporters. 20 likes. You get to 20 likes in the next 4 minutes, and I'll bash Jonathan Gannon just for those 3 more clicks. Just saying. Just saying. Why not? I would do it. I would change. I'll sell my opinion to the highest bidder. I'll make my opinion whatever you want. Someone drop $100 super chat. I will make my opinion whatever you tell me to make it. And I'll live and die by it forever. Because why not? I'm always up for the highest bidder for everything in life. Everything. I'm just a man that can be bought for anything. It's so simple. For the love of God, please hit that like button. Thoughts on Sherman saying Carroll to the Chargers is a perfect fit? Richard Sherman said that? The Chargers job, everybody is saying, is the most enticing job available out of the 8 openings right now. Because, again, I think there's upwards of 5 jobs that could become open depending on results this weekend. That's another subject. Thoughts on Sherman saying Carroll to the Chargers? I don't know if Pete Carroll's the best option. If he would go to the Chargers, he would better bring an elite offensive coordinator with him to unlock Justin Herbert, who's supposedly great. I am not a Justin Herbert fan. I think Justin Herbert is just a poor man's Phillip Rivers, a poor man Dan Marino, a guy that's going to put up lots of great stats. He just doesn't have that elite leadership and elite intangible skill set that he could put a team on his back and do whatever's necessary. I was at the Eagles-Chargers game in 2021, and he led that long drive to end the game. It was like 7 minutes long. That game, I was in the parking lot. That was a 1 o'clock game. I was in the parking lot with Jeff Warner from AAT Birds, Birds, Beer, and BS. We were in our car before 4 o'clock, ready to come home. That's how quick that game ended. But I watched him in person, and I did not see anything that screamed to me elite winning quarterback. Sure, he throws a nice ball, but that's it. That's just me. I just think that the Chargers' job should go to an offensive-minded coach because everyone tells me I'm wrong on Justin Herbert. So I want to see if I'm wrong or not. I don't, I'm the only content creator that loves admitting his mistakes and that he's wrong. I have no problem doing that. I think it creates great dynamic of a show to admit your mistakes. Unlike some of these other people that stand by their horrible takes till the day they die. I think an elite offensive-minded coach needs to go to LA. I just don't know who that's going to be. Oh no, Phil's a Democrat. Whatever I'm registered. You want me to be something else? You can buy my vote. I'll sell my vote in the next election to the highest bidder. I don't care. I am the easiest bought man. Imagine Herbert with McVay. I don't know. Maybe he'd be better. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't buy Justin Herbert as an elite quarterback. He will never be in my top 5, ever. Belichick only wants to coach again so he can prove he can win a championship without Brady. So that would tell me Belichick should go to the Chargers if everyone's right on Herbert except for me. I don't know. I still think there's a 1% chance he's in Philly next year. I agree. Glad somebody agrees. If the Eagles move on from Nick, is this head coaching job the most enticing? That is a fantastic question, Marshawn. And it's a shame we only got 90 seconds left in this show. I'm going to write this down. This Nick fired equals Eagles head coach number 1 job. I think that's an excellent question. You got Jalen Hurts, you got A.J. Brown, you got an elite, talented team. You might be right. You might be right on this. I think if Dallas loses this week to Green Bay, Mike McCarthy's gone. I think they would move on to Dan Quinn probably. But Bill could go. I could see Jerry Jones offering Bill Belichick $1 billion to go there. For sure. Bill Belichick's going to go to an elite team or at least an elite franchise that has a lot of money. For sure. He's not going to go to, some of these low-end teams. He's not going to go to Carolina and try to rebuild the Panthers. I wonder if you can. Wonder if you can what? I'm not sure what you were asking there. When Phil was right, when Phil was wrong. Hey, I have no problem. They call me a flip-flopper on social media because they don't understand that I'm just admitting I was wrong. Instead, they say I flip-flop my opinion. Flip-flop networks I work on, too. Yeah. Heat. Eagles, most ready to win team for a new head coach. I agree with that. I do. Bill in Washington is not flying. Washington would be the only team I would consider thinking Bill Belichick would go to that's not elite. Um, because we know Josh Harris has a boatload of money. He has no problem spending that money, and he doesn't go for up and coming. Doc Rivers, Nick Nurse, Daryl Morey, the big money spent on big names to try to fix the Sixers organization. I would not be shocked if Josh Harris offered the entire checkbook to Bill Belichick to restore a once proud franchise. Wouldn't be shocked. Now the team's not good enough yet for him, but wouldn't be shocked there. Somebody said earlier in the show, AJ Brown is rumored to not be playing, but it was an anonymous source, so we don't know. We'll get that. I think we'll get the information on AJ Brown today after today's practice. How bad do the Eagles have to lose to the Bucs for Sirianni to get fired? 40-7. 27-24, they don't fire him if they lose. Josh Harris hired Bob Myers. Why couldn't he hire him for the Sixers? Yeah, I mean, Josh Harris cares more about the Washington Commanders already in 1 year than he has over the last however many years he's owned the Sixers. I'll stick by that. We got to wrap this up. We're in overtime here. Got to wrap this up. Got to get to work, guys. Fun-filled day, everybody. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button, the follow button, the share button, the retweet button, all that great stuff. Have a great weekend of football. What's up, Cal Potter? Yes, I did see this somewhere. AJ Brown did deactivate his Twitter account and took Eagles off his Instagram account. Yeah, players do that all the time, trying to send a message and whatnot. It's not breaking. It's breaking news, but it's not big news. How many times did Jalen Reagor deactivate his account? So, whatever. I'm not worried about that. But we're going to wrap it up right there, guys. Make sure you do all those things, likes and shares and whatnot. Make sure you come back Monday. We will do a full Eagles versus Buccaneers preview, whatever other news. We're going to dive into this comment from a few minutes ago. Hold on. I want to make sure I write down, and Marshawn said it. We'll start it off. If they lose, is the Eagles and they fire him as a head coach, is this the most enticing spot to be a coach? And why it is and why it isn't. But anyway, we'll get to that on Monday. We'll make our predictions on Monday. We'll talk all things from this weekend. We'll recap the games from this weekend. Guys, have a great weekend. I am Phil Stiefel for Philadelphia Sports Network and Trending in the AM. Have a fantastic weekend, guys. We'll see you on Monday. Monday. And as Duck would always say, go Birds.